JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, the original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back in another segment of the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach, broadcasting from the infamous Ravens Room at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street in Ocean City. Mike Bradley, John Gehrig. We've also got Steve Slaza and Tommy Dickerson, special guests with us as we recap the 49-27 loss to the Denver Broncos last week. And first, before we delve back into that, I do want to remind those that are listening on the radio and watching on TV as well that it really behooves you to come down to the show every Wednesday. Doors open at 5 and the show starts at 7 because we give out tickets each and every week. Chances for you to win tickets to see the Ravens play at M&T Bank Stadium. We've got a host of different games that you can possibly win to go to, courtesy of our friends at jctickets.net. So come on down. We also have some other giveaways from our fine sponsors as well. And this beautiful Ravens room, if you haven't been here yet, we want to take advantage of it. And of course, we want to thank our friends at Dunaway Furniture as well for the brand new set. They've got, again, an outdoor furniture sale, 50% off, that you want to stop on by and check those guys out for that, because you can spruce up for the 2014 season. Get a great deal right now for that. As we delve back into the game, guys, as we wrapped up the last segment talking about, again, tough loss, AFC game, could that affect seeding, playoffs at the end of the year? It could. That said, there's a long way to go with the season. All the other AFC North teams lost their games, and the first goal is to win your division. And that's completely within sights, and we'll get that chance, and we'll talk about the Browns game coming up. But that's completely within sight. So, in a way, we kind of got a reprieve, at least divisionally, with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and Cleveland losing in that one. But I did want to pick up as well with Tommy, what you were talking about in the first segment concerning the run game, and I thought again that we didn't establish that line of scrimmage well enough, at least for later in the game, because I thought we could have worn them down more and maybe stop the pass rush, because they still got a good pass rush on us, despite the fact that Von Miller and Elvis Dumerville is now, of course, with us. But injuries, guys, played certainly a part in that game. Michael Orr, he gets hurt. He has a really bad ankle sprain. That Marshall Yonda fell on his right foot, so he comes out of the game. But even earlier, Jacoby Jones, who had 3 catches for 24 yards, he comes out in an already thinning wide receiving corps. So the loss of personnel certainly did not help us. And the way Jacoby Jones sprained his MCL, one of our own players heading into him, that just compounded the problem.
The best hit of the game. I mean, it really was. But you know what? Receiving-wise, with Pitt out, the Ravens are in trouble. I mean, I have to tell you, Flacco's in trouble, and we're going to have to establish more of a running game, because I honestly don't know. I mean, Brandon Stokely is decent. Dallas Clark, they're both up in years. Obviously, we know that. I mean, Torrey Smith is good, but you know what? I'm not sure he's ready to be the #1 receiver, and if he is, but I don't think we have a #2 receiver. Jacoby Jones being hurt. Marlon Brown looks great in preseason, and Millette just went on the IR. I don't know what we're going to do, and it's a little scary there, and we're thin there, and I think the Ravens could be in trouble. But you know what? Every game, like, I think the Cleveland game is going to be a tough game for us. It's not going to be easy. The whole season, we play, obviously, with Super Bowl champs, we play the toughest schedule in the league, and it's going to be tough.
Well, I think Marlon Brown is a clear upgrade. I mean, Jacoby, all the people that left, Jacoby Jones is not cheap, and I just didn't kind of understand that. He's not a natural ball catcher. He had opportunities with Houston opposite Andre Johnson. Didn't catch on there. Kevin, we never could be that just not a journeyman guy, but just a guy, Kevin Walter. So he was never more than a #3 in a pass-happy offense. And he's here. He doesn't catch with his hands real well. He's very clumsy catching the ball. He drops a lot of balls. And Marlon Brown is he's going to need some reps, but the guy's a player. He's got speed, some size. He catches with his hands. He commands the ball. He's got He's got kind of a playmaking mentality, it seems, and he just needs to get out and play a little bit, and he'll have an impact. But I mean, we're going to need to be creative with these injuries. We're going to need to be creative, getting Ray Rice more involved, even if that's catching the ball and using Bernard Pierce on the field at the same time at the running back spot. But I mean, Jim Caldwell, we had open guys. We had some space to make plays, and we're just going to have to see what happens. I agree that Cleveland game's going to be tough, but they don't have their #1 receiver, Josh Gordon. So, they look terrible. They didn't look like the same team from the preseason. The Bengals look terrible. The Steelers look terrible. They all look terrible. So we're looking like we're division champs right now.
Yeah, I thought,
and we haven't even won a game yet.
Exactly. I thought when you looked at the schedule, I mean, it came down. I mean, that game was a setup game. I mean, to play, arguably the toughest team on your schedule at their place, and they've got a grudge because you shouldn't have beat them in their mind, and if it wasn't for the Hail Mary pass, and and the Houston game coming up. But you're right, the Cleveland game snuck in there between what I think are the two most difficult games on our schedule. This could be a real tough game for us.
Well, we'll talk about that coming up. John, I'm not so sure I agree with your assessment of Jacoby Jones. Last year, he wasn't used a lot with
Here's
Cam
Jacoby
Cameron.
Jones.
Well, but John, last year he wasn't used a lot by Cam Cameron, but when he was in the game, he did make plays. He's a vertical threat opposite Torrey Smith. Yeah, at best he's a #3. I agree with you. But in the game Monday night, he didn't have drops. He had 3 catches. He was making plays for. Again, I'm not saying he's the best wide receiver, in the NFL by a long shot, but I think you underestimate a little bit what he brings to the table for them. And of course, on special teams as well, that hurt them. At one point, we had Ladarius Webb coming off an ACL on a punt return kick. I know it was a punt return safe, but I think you're being a little harsh on him. But you're right, Marlon Brown's going to have to step up. Stokely, it's going to have to be by committee. Unfortunately, Ed Dixon's showing the lack of hands once again that he showed last year. 2 years ago, he had 51 catches, but he's not that tight end anymore. But, guys, some stats I came across that's a little unnerving to me is that, again, I know the team played well in the first half, but something we need to watch is 11 of the 20 plays that we had, the first 20 plays, we had 6 plays where we got no yards. We had 5 plays where we got -1 yards and 2 plays where we only got 1 yard. So, on the whole, negative yards are never a good thing, and you usually want to try to average 3. But again, that's something that you take a look at, and if anything, you don't want to have negative plays. And they had 5 in the first half. That's not a good thing. And again, that offensive line is going to have to, I think, play better than it did last week.
That puts you in passing downs, so it's all adding up on why they had to throw the ball.
No, I agree.
I think when you lose your right tackle, and you really didn't think how good Matt Burke was until you saw Gradkowski, and I give him credit. I've got to. Donna beat me up. He's a Delaware boy, so we know he's going to come on. But you got to fight, so you got to the fire is there. It's now you just got to get it all down. But commanding the whole line and all the calls and all that is a lot more complicated than people give it credit for. So when you looked at the line, you were really 2 down when it started.
Speaking of the line, Tommy, Elvis Dumerville, Terrell Suggs. A good tandem, good pass rush tandem between the two of them. They only got 1 sack, but I thought as a whole the defensive line, they got a fairly good push against Peyton Manning. He took some shots. I know at the end of the day he threw 7 touchdown passes, but I thought at times they pushed the pocket. They can do better, but what was your assessment of them?
I thought they played well against the run. I thought Peyton Manning had a lot of time. I think we sacked him once, maybe twice. If we've got, there might have been some pressures, but I'm sorry, the day he had, I don't think we played that well. Suggs, honestly, I think takes a lot of plays off. I got to tell you, I like the guy when he wants to play, but I don't think he had a great game. Dumerville, I expect more out of, especially coming back to his old team. But Michael Ward, quite frankly, wasn't playing well when he got hurt. Until he got hurt, he wasn't playing well, and he hasn't played that well. I got to tell you, we talk about these old pads. Ray Rice, our best play, even last year in the Super Bowl champion, is a dump down to Ray Rice. It's constantly because our receivers don't break open. Now, you can talk about Jacoby Jones. He's probably a #2 to 3 receiver, but he still led the league in kickoff returns. That's huge. I mean, I'm sorry, you can run back on it. You can lead the league in kickoff returns. That's a big offensive weapon. So you lose them on that end too, and you have to put somebody else back there that you really don't want to put back there. So we've gotten young. Now we put these young guys in, and they're gonna have to play well. Potentially they might be good, but I don't know. I thought our pass rush should have been better. I really do, and I'm expecting more out of him. Now I think Dale Smith was going to be better. I thought he looked so good in the preseason, not so much in the first game.
John, that offensive line, you played tight end, though. They do have some pretty good tackles, though, in Orlando Franklin and Ryan Clady. Those guys are pretty good. But I agree. I did expect more out of that tandem there, and I think they can get better. Again, I think there are a lot of guys that can get better and play better. We know that. They've got a history, a track record there, but we didn't see it the other night.
Well, we still, 2 guys I'm always on. #5, And then number 92. He's got it. He just doesn't collapse the pocket. You need to get in Peyton Manning's face. He doesn't like it. He's uncomfortable. And we need to get our hands up. We got a 6'7" guy, dude, now right in the middle. Canty. I mean, I thought we were going to see more tip balls. Didn't see too many. But look, the first half, we had our way. We had a chance to go up 7 in Denver at the half, and it fell apart. And when you play ball long enough, that type of thing happens. And when you don't execute plays, look, number 5 is not, he doesn't come through unscathed. You had Jacoby Jones, my guy, right? He runs a little skinny post, wide open, beats across his defender's face. All Joe has to do, he should be able to do this. This is my point, and I get blamed for this a lot, but for being hard. But his job is he's a pro football player. Get this, all right? He doesn't wake up and get stressed out about his job. All he does is train and pitch a ball and throw a ball around with a red jersey on in practice. I mean, that's it. He should be able to take a 3-step drop and deliver a pass on time, like Michael Jordan can close his eyes and make free throws. That's how it should be to me, right? So when he has Jacoby Jones who does everything right and beats his man across his face, he should be able to hit him in stride, and Jacoby Jones makes one guy miss and it's a touchdown. Instead, it goes on the stat sheet as a 13-yard gain, but he threw the ball completely behind Jacoby Jones' back. Jacoby Jones had to make a 180 to make the catch. Got a 13-yard gain.
But I thought he's not a good receiver. How did he make that catch?
Yeah, this is the guy who says drops the ball all the time. I mean,
you have to make it. You need to make it an impossible catch, and he'll do it. He either needs to be running, 60 yards. My point is, Joe needs when you're playing the best teams, you should be able to deliver the ball in stride so that your guy can do his job and make one guy miss and potentially score a touchdown. That's the difference between, and Dallas Clark dropping the ball. We wound up punting on that drive. That's the difference between 28-14 and 17-14, wind up getting our tails kicked.
Steve, what we haven't talked about, in 60 seconds we'll let you take this, is that the secondary, outside of Lardarius Webb, the secondary was terrible. Corey Graham was bad, especially bad. He was lined up against Welker, and Jimmy Smith continues to be a very disappointing first-round pick.
Michael Huff, where was he? I mean, he might as well have bought a ticket. I mean, but that's my whole construction of the roster. When you got 5 safeties and 4 defensive backs, I mean, you're going to a track meet and you take 4 cornerbacks. I mean, come on, and your 4th one is Shaki Brown. So you're really only playing with 3. It was just a tough, I thought, call for the roster. But I honestly, and like Tommy said, I thought the question of, why not blitz them? Just go after them. I know you can't blitz them every time, but it wasn't like your middle linebackers were covering anybody. They were just standing there in the middle. And, that there wasn't really a, zone working. So I thought they should have gone after him. But, yeah, definitely the communications problem exposed the secondary.
More of the Ravens Wrap Show to come on Comcast Beach TV at 93.5 The Beach. Keep
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.